San Jose Sharks prospect of the year, Ethan Cardwell, makes his debut on Locked On Sharks, where we discuss kind of his path to the draft, being one of the COVID kids with pre-draft, playing in Barrie, playing against some of the other Sharks OHL guys. So all that and more on today's episode of Locked On Sharks.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, contributor at Inside the Rink, and I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Probably the part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day, or at least 3 days a week right now, because we are in off-season mode. And if you want to be an everydayer, all you got to do is just follow along wherever you get podcasts, and you can watch on YouTube as well. And Sharks prospect Ethan Cardwell joins the show today, where we dive into kind of his pre-draft process, what it was like going during the COVID stuff, going to go play in Sweden for a year. And then, we talk about his teammate, Brant Clark, and plenty of other good stuff. Get to know Ethan a little bit off the ice as well. So without further ado, let's get into it with Ethan Cardwell. And now we have Sharks 2021 fourth round pick, Ethan Cardwell, joining the show. Ethan, how's it going, buddy?
Good. Yourself?
Hanging in there. So I know the last bits of summer are coming to a close here. We're going to be getting into the grind of the season here really soon. So wanted to start with kind of way back when you were kind of, a young child. When did you realize you could maybe turn hockey into a real thing?
I mean, it was always a dream of mine. You grow up wanting to play in the NHL, and my grandfather was fortunate enough to play in the NHL. So I feel like it was kind of, and then my dad played pro himself. So it was kind of just following in their footsteps, just realizing, okay, if you work really hard, maybe this is a potential to turn something into this. And no, it was always definitely a goal of mine, and something that it was a dream. And then I think when you kind of reach like U14, U15, you realize, okay, well, the OHL is not too far away, or the NCAA possibly. So kind of at that point, it changes the mentality of the game, rather than just going out there and playing, to kind of playing with a purpose and a goal in mind.
So it interests me, especially with like the OHL with trades, right? You were originally drafted by Saginaw and then traded to Barrie. What's it like being, 16 years old, moving countries, all that, everything that goes along with a trade for someone of that age?
Yeah, I mean, first off, the draft, going down to Saginaw for a first time, I was 15 at the time when I moved in, so it's a little bit of a shock.
Yeah.
But I was ready for it. I knew what to expect for the 2 years leading up, so you kind of get prepared in that sense. But no, it was a great opportunity. I loved every moment I had in Saginaw. Saginaw was a great town, great city, great fans, stuff like that. My billets were awesome to make me feel welcome and stuff like that at such a young age.
Mm-hmm.
And then, getting traded, it's a little bit different. You're still a young kid. You're processing everything. You're on one team. You get comfortable. You make all your friends, and they say, well, you're gonna go to a different team. So that was it was another kind of adjustment period. Like, okay, I got to adjust to my surroundings, and at the same time, I also got to perform on the ice within a matter of a day. Like, I got traded and I had to play that night. So it was a whirlwind experience, but no, I made the most of it. So I was really happy with the way things worked out.
And then, of course, you and a lot of your peers are kind of in that weird COVID era, right? You were technically eligible for the 2020 draft. Very, very. You could have, if you're born 2 weeks later, right, you would be eligible for the 2021 draft, but 2020 draft went through. You didn't get drafted, unfortunately. Like, how was that experience? Just because, I mean, with everything that was happening in the world at that time, right? I mean, basically we were playing hockey, and then the next day the world shut down. So what was the experience like going into the draft, and kind of that I would assume disappointing not getting drafted experience?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it was kind of, we were just getting ready to gear up for playoffs, and next thing you know, the world shuts down, and we were told it'd be a few weeks and we'd be back at it. And sure enough,
Nope.
Totally canceled, and then even next season got canceled. So I mean, it was a bit of a shock, and I think like everything, had to take it in stride. I mean, everyone kind of got shut down, and
Mhm.
I mean, at the end of the day, we were playing a sport that we love and that's so fun, and we weren't getting paid at the time or anything like that. So it wasn't a big deal. I feel bad for those who were kind of out of a job and everything like that. But for us to have to train and not play for so long, it was tough. And for me, I was just gearing up for that draft. I had high hopes of getting drafted that year. Kind of had every expectation of getting drafted, and to slide on that day, it was definitely disappointing. I think it was the most adversity I had faced personally as a hockey player up to that point. Kind of that letdown of having such high hopes and then
Mhm.
everything being crushed there. But you know what? I feel like that was probably the best thing that ever happened to me. Just in a circumstance that, okay, I realized where I was at, and I said, you know what, I can go two ways about this. I can either kind of let this define me and kind of give up on the dream, or I can use this as extra motivation and kind of push forward and work even harder. So I think it was a great thing for me.
And then, of course, during the COVID season, right? OHL never got back to play. I know we like the WHL had their kind of weird bubble season. The Q doing whatever the Q does. You went over and played in Sweden. So what was that like playing in Sweden for a whole season?
Sweden was awesome. It was my first chance to really kind of move away from home and live on my own, right? And
Mhm.
you always tell you live with billets who take great care of you. So Sweden was a cool experience. I got to go with two of my best buddies, Blake Murray and Jack Thompson. So to do that with them, we shared an apartment, we cooked, we cleaned, we ate, or we went grocery shopping. We did all the basic needs for ourselves. So it's the first time doing that, kind of realizing what the real world's all about, and then doing it in a country that's so far away from home was cool too. But no, the team and the town and our teammates made the experience so much fun, and just to be able to play hockey was really fortunate in that year with so much going on in North America, shutdowns and stuff. To be able to get out there and really just be able to showcase myself, even if it was overseas. But to go through that experience, it was a hell of a time, and just to even play there for 3.5 months was definitely a life-changing experience.
And then, of course, you get drafted in the 2021 draft by the Sharks. Just a huge relief that like everything you've gone through and you finally get to enjoy this moment.
Yeah, you put in so much work behind the scenes that people may or may not see, and it's kind of just a self-reward to say, okay, well, it pays off. You're not doing all this for nothing, and it's just it's a good feeling for sure. And at that point, you take a day or two to celebrate it, and then you kind of realize, okay, this is amazing. I got drafted, but this is only the beginning. Now all the hard work really starts, and you're in the real world of hockey now.
Are you a little jealous you didn't get the full stage experience like the guys do? Getting to do the Zoom. Is that the same putting on the hat at home compared? They get the full
Yeah.
everything now.
It was definitely a little bit different. I mean, I
Yeah.
was on the road. I was in West Virginia with my family on a golf trip. We were in North Carolina coming home. So to have it go down the way it did, I wouldn't change it for the world. But I mean, yeah, it would have been cool to be on stage. But just to spend it with my three closest family members, obviously my brother and my parents, it was a pretty special day, and I was fortunate enough the day I got back from the road trip to have a nice big party at our family restaurant back home.
All right, guys, before we finish up with Ethan, we talk about kind of his OHL days and what Sharks fans are getting in Quentin Musty and some of the other players other Sharks prospects that Cardwell's played against. Do need to take a quick break. Talk to you guys about our good friends over at FanDuel, and NFL season is basically here, guys. And if you want to try to win some money, FanDuel is the way to go. America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can bet $5 and you get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off the NFL Sunday ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. That is an outstanding deal. The YouTube having NFL on YouTube this year is just going to make our lives so much easier. So if you want to get in on that deal, now's the best time to join FanDuel. The app is easy to use, and you can bet on everything from spreads to player props and more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season with an offer you won't want to miss. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. All right. So played for Barrie for a couple seasons. What's your bet? I would say, what's your personal highlight from playing from Barrie?
I mean, personal highlight, like you mean like my stuff on the ice, or?
Yep. Well, yeah, your stuff on the ice. What's the like if you're starting your clip, or your highlight clip, where are you starting out at?
I mean, I'd probably go with in my first year there, is before the COVID shutdown. I was fortunate enough to get 4 goals in one period in the first period of the game, so that was pretty cool.
That's a pretty good one there. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's that's a good start. So,
yeah.
how about off the ice? What was your favorite thing about living in Barrie?
Probably just my billets. I had 2 billets. It was amazing. They were incredible.
Mhm.
Uh, both of them, and then my last 2 years with my billet family there, it kind of became the house that all the boys came over to all the time. So just the nights spending there and in the basement or in the pool or just going golfing or playing ping pong, just countless memories in that regard.
All right, and the Sharks had drafted that 2020 draft. They drafted a fair amount of OHL players. Guys like Brendan Coe, Danil Gushchin. You played against these guys kind of night in, night out. What's it like going against these guys? But at the same time, you're probably going to be future teammates at some point.
Yeah, I think it's definitely interesting. You play with so many guys in your career and you
Mhm.
become close friends. So, I mean, after you go to development camp, you build a relationship, you build a friendship, and then next thing you know, you're battling each other on the ice in very meaningful games. But no, it's cool. I think it's a little bit of extra friendly competition. Obviously, you're all fighting for a spot on the Sharks, hopefully one day. So it's kind of everyone wants to get the leg up on the competition out there. So it was definitely a cool touch to be able to play against those guys as much as I did, and it kind of pushes you to even play a little bit harder in those games, I think.
How good is Brant Clark?
I mean, I think I've been asked that question a million times now, and it's words can't even describe what he can do out there. It's just his mind, the way he thinks the game, and I
Mhm.
was a beneficiary of that a lot. And I think we had a really good connection. I know where each other were on the ice, and it worked out for the best in both of our situations, I think. And but yeah, no, it won't be any fun playing against him. Hopefully one day when he's on LA, and but yeah, no, he's one hell of a player, that's for sure.
And then the Sharks, of course, drafted Quentin Musty, who you've played against before. So, what are the Sharks getting with Musty?
I mean, I think a very high skill guy who's a big body and he's got an incredible shot on him.
Mhm.
Just from playing against him, obviously he's one of those guys that you kind of circle on the game notes to watch out for, especially for the defensemen and goalies. But no, he's definitely a good player.
All right. And then last training camp, you were one of the last players who got sent back to the OHL. You hung around till the very, very end. What was the message they gave to you, or the front office gave to you when you went back?
Yeah, I think the main message was like you had a good camp. So I took that in stride. I was obviously a little bit disappointed to be sent back, but looking back at it now is definitely for the best. But no, they were happy with the way I performed and competed every day at camp, and that was kind of nice knowing that they had thought that of me at camp, and I took that in stride, and I figured, okay, well, if they think that of me now, I can go and excel at the junior level and kind of show them even more that I'm capable of, and build off that. So I just took that back to Barrie and tried to really work on my game, iron out the 200-foot game, and really
Mhm.
just be a complete player, the one that they want at their pro level.
Yeah, I mean, the Sharks have been that's kind of been their MO. You look at like Brendan Coe, right? They sent back. They just, I think they want you guys to kind of get that last season and go just kick ass for a season in the juniors. Um, so you mentioned kind of development camp this year, right? What was your biggest takeaway seeing, especially some of these new guys out there?
Yeah, I think my biggest takeaway from me is just play with confidence, really. I mean, I think in my first 2 development camps, you still go in there, you're a little bit like, I don't know, you want to say like maybe a little bit nervous, scared to make plays, scared to
Mm.
kind of be at your best. And when you're free flowing and you're just kind of letting the game come to you, or even at practice, just gripping your stick a little lighter, things go easier. So I think that was it for me. I think I had a real good development camp, and I just felt good out there because I was comfortable this time, and that comes with being around for a little bit and being comfortable with the guys and stuff. So yeah, that was my biggest takeaway, is just like there's no reason to be shy or nervous or anything like that. Just kind of go out there and play your game, and you're there for a reason. So that was kind of the biggest thing I went into camp with, and realized that, okay, well, if it works like that at development camp, there's no reason it can't work like that at main camp. I know personnel changes and stuff like that, but just be confident in yourself and go out there and play to the highest capability.
Who's your roommate?
Oh man, I'm blanking right now. I've had so many roommates. I was with Danny Waite.
Okay.
Yeah, son of Doug Waite. So he was an awesome guy. We had a great time together.
Patrick Marleau, of course, hired by the Sharks. What was it like? Probably soon a Hall of Famer, and Patrick Marleau on the ice there, kind of giving you lessons.
Yeah, it was definitely cool. I mean, I'm in San Jose now. Just got down here 3 days ago, so I've started my last little phase of training for the summer, and Patty's been out here full gear with us the last few days. Just I was talking with Kevin LeBanc today when we were standing in line, and we were saying, like, this guy's NHL ready today, and he's such a pro out there. The way he goes about his business, he's obviously has so much skill, but his work ethic tops it all, and a great guy. Definitely has a lot of knowledge in the game, and he's willing to and open to share it with you. And I think it's a pretty cool asset that we have here with the Sharks.
All right. You're going to finally get to play pro this year. What's your goal for the Barracuda this season with the Barracuda?
I mean, I don't want to set any expectations. I kind of want to just go in there with an open mindset to just go up, show up there every day and work as hard as I can. And I feel like the best things come for those who work the hardest. So just any extra work I can be putting in, or just contributing up and down the lineup wherever they need me to fit in. I want to be that player who can be relied on in all situations. And then the end goal, my biggest goal would be to contribute to make the playoffs. Obviously, it's been a little bit of a tough go as of late, but it's a young team that has a lot of character, and I think this year it could be turned around and definitely start going in the right direction. So I think that's one of my main focuses for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the playoffs, and they just missed the playoffs last season, right? And then I think this year you're going to have a lot of guys kind of entering that year two. You look at guys like Robbins and Gushchin and Co. and Weisblatt, all those guys kind of be going year two. You're probably going to be added into there as well, and I think the organization feels really good about this group of guys going forward, and they want all you young guys to kind of grow and develop together, right? They haven't added a ton of veteran players. I think they're really relying on you young guys to kind of make your marks for this team. And I think a playoff push is, I think it'll be good for you guys, right?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you can get any sort of experience in the postseason is huge. So, and definitely, yeah, building off that, the prospect pool, that's why you draft every year. So I think they've done a good job of it. And now it's up to us to kind of show what we have.
All right, guys, before we finish up with Ethan, we talk about kind of off the ice, his golf game, all that good stuff. Do want to thank you guys for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Again, probably part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day. We'll be back tomorrow with our state of the franchise with the LA Kings. Going to look at the Kings and how, if they're ready to kind of make that jump from dark horse contender to full-fledged contender, and why the goaltending is such a huge piece of the question for the Kings this year. So make sure you guys are following along wherever you get podcasts. And, of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. All right, let's get some off the ice with you, Ethan. So, of course, if you don't know, Ethan hosts the Showbound Podcast, which just hit your 100th episode. Congratulations on that. I understand the content grind that it is to put out a podcast. So what's the plans for the show going now that you've gotten to 100 episodes? What's the plans now?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely going to continue. Pretty proud, honestly. It kind of started up as just like a random COVID thing to kill time and see where it would go. And obviously it kind of popped off from there. So I was fortunate enough for that. And obviously that's thanks to the fans and everyone who tunes in every week. But no, it'll kind of just be whenever we can get an episode out there. whenever we're not too busy and stuff like that. Just going to kind of monitor that. Obviously, it's a big year for myself, and first and foremost is performing on the ice and being ready to go every day. So whenever maybe there's some downtime or something like that, doing an episode and then really hammer them out during the summer times.
Good. All right. So before games, are you superstitious, a little stitious, or you let it flow guy?
I mean, I'd say I'm a little stitious. Like I'll put all my left gear before my right gear. Other than that, though, I'm pretty easy going. Like I don't have a set meal. My routine is my routine. Like I could go without a nap, or I could nap. Just kind of depends on the day. So I think I like to think I'm pretty easy going in that sense.
Are you like headphones guy, or you whatever they're playing in the dressing room?
No, I like to talk with the boys and stuff like that, and just I'll go with whatever music's on. So I'm cool with that. But no, I'm not one of those guys who kind of zones in on his own. I like to keep it loose.
Are you ever the locker room DJ, or you let someone else handle those duties?
I know I won't be this year as a rookie, that's for sure. But no, in Barrie, if the boys, I was more or less like a kind of a off day type guy. I never had the heavy beats to get the boys going before a game, but if we were coming in on a I don't know, on a Tuesday morning and it was going to be a light practice, I'd throw on some country tunes for the boys.
I was gonna say, yeah, you're a little bit more the country genre, right? I think it's a little bit more kind of low key. You're not getting as hyped maybe with the country music, so makes sense. I know the Barracuda just announced their country night here coming up later this year, which I know was very successful for them last year. But next question: are you a normal person, or are you a monster who does not wear socks with their skates?
I'm normal. 100%. I could not do that. That's for sure.
Yeah, there's occasional you run into them every once in a while. So
yeah, sickos.
I know. I don't know how they could do it. They say it's like the best because it's the best thing ever, but who knows? You mentioned no nap. How about pregame coffee? Are you a coffee guy?
Yeah, typically I'll stop for a coffee. It doesn't have to be the same coffee. Maybe a French vanilla. If it's fall, maybe mix it up with some pumpkin spice.
Get the pumpkin spice. Yeah, I was gonna say hot or iced, or just depends on the mood.
Oh, I mean, back in Barrie it was pretty cold, so I'd normally go hot. But now in San Jose, I'll probably be going iced coffee a lot, as it's already hot enough out.
I know. Yeah, I was gonna ask. I mean, I know you're a huge golfer, right? And how nice is it? You're gonna be able to play golf year round now, right?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually getting out for my first round in San Jose for this year. So today, so going to hit the links after this. So I'm really looking forward to that. But
I know Co's good. Are you going with? Have you played with Co yet?
I'm going. I've played with him a few times when I've been here, so I'm playing with him today. So I'll have to report back.
Yeah, I know he's very good. So, but from what I hear, you're pretty good as well. So I'm not sure the best player. I know for a while it was Megna was the best player on the Barracuda. I don't know who the best golfer is on the Barracuda right now. So maybe that throne is available for you. You can go make a run for it right now. So I'll get you out of here. Last question. Other than golf, what's your kind of favorite off-season activity?
I mean, I love spending time with my family and friends, and typically we do that up at the cottage, or whether it be wake surfing or hydro surfing, stuff like that. Just like doing the simple stuff, just playing kind of like backyard games like washers or frisbee, or just throwing the football around. We have so much fun doing that in the summer. So my ideal day would just be kind of just golfing in the morning and then going out on the boat all day with family and friends, and just kind of enjoying the water and the nice weather. So yeah, definitely surfing and just backyard games is kind of how I fill most of my time if I'm not on the golf course, which is not too often.
All right, Ethan, you've said all. Thank you so much. We look forward to seeing your first season with the Barracuda this year, and hopefully not too long before you're making your NHL debut. So appreciate best of luck this season. Stay healthy, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Really appreciate the time, and yeah, all the best.
Thanks. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed my conversation with Ethan Cardwell. I think he's going to be a big piece for the Barracuda this year, especially you're going to have a lot of guys kind of making that year 1 to year 2 jump. Your Tristan Robbins, your Daniel Gushchins, your Wisewats, your coach, like a lot of these guys. And I think Cardwell is going to kind of fit in that middle 6 for the Barracuda this season, but wouldn't be surprised by the end of the season he's playing top 6 minutes for the Barracuda just once he kind of gets acclimated. We know watching last year, right? You saw got a lot of guys like Robbins and co maybe kind of struggle here and there, and I think you're going to see the same thing from Cardwell, but I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the season he's going to be a big contributor for the Barracudas and I think this is a big year for them to make the playoffs and try to do a little bit of damage in the AHL this season. So but yeah, I expect Cardwell to have a good season with the Barracuda, and then I wouldn't be surprised if maybe that 24-25 years when he makes his NHL debut. Who knows? He could make it this season. I mean, we saw Gushchin, saw Robbins make their debuts last year. Wouldn't be surprised actually if maybe Cardwell does play a game or 2 in the NHL, but then maybe he's kind of the next season is going to be in that kind of like the Robbins blueprint, right? Where going into this year for Robbins, where he's expected to kind of be the guy for the Barracuda. I could see that for Cardwell in 2 seasons and kind of being the guy, and then maybe making by the end of the season trying to be a full-time NHL player. So, but yeah, I got high hopes for Cardwell. I think he's going to be a good player for the Sharks organization for years to come. Kind of a high-end third line guy who can pop in some goals for you, and maybe a second line type of player for the Sharks eventually. So that's going to be it for me today. Like I said, we'll be back tomorrow with the state of the LA Kings franchise, see what's going on down south, and if they can kind of go from that dark horse team to being like a full-fledged contender, and why I personally am worried about the goaltending, but we'll see what Eddie from Locked On Kings has to say. So make sure you guys are following along for that. Again, you can follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at Locked On Sharks. You can follow me on Twitter and Threads at MyFryHole. Until tomorrow, bye, friends.